Hello, traders. Hello, YouTube. I'm Will Bridges. Welcome back to 123 Trade. So what I've got for you here today, I want to go through a little bit of a walkthrough of SmartTrader, a little SmartTrader tutorial, if you will. And I couldn't really think of a better way to do a walkthrough than by also making a big Brexit prediction in the process, because, hey, if I'm going to show you what tools I use on a regular basis, how to find all of the drawing tools, where to find my automations, where to use my indicators, what indicators are most popular, how to maybe watch somebody trade live within SmartTrader in a trading room, where you can share ideas, look at other traders' ideas, how to connect your trading account, how to make a trade, place a trade, market order, pending order. Hey, I'm going to set up for my Brexit prediction and show you how to do all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get this thing rocking. If you like the tools you see in this video, then by all means, there is a way for you to get access below. There's a link. We actually get a special deal through SmartTrader. So if you want to save yourself some money and get access to some of the tools I'm about to show, you're going to be, well, let's just say we'll save it until we get there. You decide how you feel. I don't want to, preload you too much, but I am going to show my Brexit prediction. I'm going to bring up charts. I'm going to look at pricing data. I'm going to actually place a trade in this video. I want to actually put in a pending order in this video too. So I want to make sure everybody understands everything in this video, okay, is for educational purposes only. Okay. This video is going to be online for a long time, and this trade I'm going to place is not going to be amazing 2 years from now. So, or well, hey, you never know, but I would say probably not. But what this is saying is that if you put your money into the market, or any market for that matter, your capital is at risk. You have to risk it to get the biscuit, folks. So you cannot control the market. You can only control your risk. Do not invest or trade with money you can't afford to lose. So now that we got that out of the way, everybody be responsible. Okay, we're going to come to the part that everybody really came here to see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to SmartTrader. Let me switch screens over here. Perfect. Okay, and this is the home page of SmartTrader. And I'm already logged in. If you do want to log in, it's right where this little circle is with my picture on the top right. If you click on it, I can log out here as well. If you don't remember your password, the forgot password feature, all you have to know is your email address, so you can recover that easily yourself. If you can't remember the password, you don't have to go to product support or anything like that. But let's go ahead and get over to the charts. I want to show you, well, the essential tools, the stuff that I use all the time. If I want to be a position trader, a swing trader, a scalper, whatever it is, you're going to need to know how to open up a chart, create a workspace. You're going to need to know how to place trades. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is actually connect your account. So right here, this money symbol with the circle around it, I click on Manage Accounts, and now I have this trading account manager window pop up. And what I need to do is click on Add. Okay, so if you're adding a live or a demo account, you need to choose that first. So let's just say it's your live account. This broker is a drop-down list. You cannot type on this bar. It won't work. And you may try it a few times before you figure this out otherwise. But you just need to scroll down. The server number is your Metatrader 4 server number. It's available in your My Accounts page of your broker's back office. Okay, so it's also going to be on the top left-hand corner of your Metatrader 4 instance if you already have Metatrader 4 installed. So it's right at the top left of MT4. But let's just say if you're on AvaReal 2, for example. Okay, that's my Metatrader 4 server. Now I need my Metatrader 4 account number. Okay, so if this is AvaTrade, those at the time that I'm making this video, start with a 7. And the password itself is the same as my brokerage account. Occasionally there are brokers that have a different password for Metatrader 4 than they have for their back office. AvaTrade is not that way. Most brokers are not that way. It's going to be the same password you use to log into their website. But keep in mind, like Oanda has a separate Metatrader 4 password that you could use. So this is just whatever password I have to log into the website. Nickname. This is my nickname for this account, so I can make this whatever I want. So I might just make this, house. If I want to buy another house, I want to buy a beach house, I want a condo, whatever it is. This could be my condo account. So if I want to make this my default, trade this one, if I decide to click the buy button real quick, it's going to decide to do this one first. It's going to place a trade in this account. If I set this as my default, it's also going to display all of the, used margin, margin available, profit, pip loss, all that stuff for this specific account, because I have 5 other accounts already hooked up. Once I get all my information in and I'm ready to log into my Metatrader 4 account from SmartTrader, I click on connect. Okay. From that point, then your account will turn green. It will be on this list here. And then you can turn off other accounts if you want to. You can change defaults. You can do all sorts of stuff. I'm going to leave it on the one I have here set. I just want to make sure you guys understood how to do that. Okay. So next thing you're going to want to know how to do is open up your own workspace. So I click the plus button on the left. I click new workspace. And we're going to make this one tutorial. And symbol, GBP, JPY. I really like this pair. Brexit's going to be really big. The yen is a shelter currency for those of you that aren't aware, similar to something like gold, more recently Bitcoin. Also, the US dollar is a shelter currency. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and open up my 1 month chart. So I can choose the first chart I open on my new workspace called tutorial. I've already got one called that. So this one's going to be, let's just say walkthrough. Add. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and remove my active trades from the screen here. And I do that by clicking on the chart settings. I go to trading, show open orders, show pending orders, save. Now I've got a blank chart, nothing to see here, folks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to squeeze the chart. If all I have to do is click on the numbers on the right and pull down, and I can squeeze the chart. If I scroll, it's going to crunch this way or this way, depending on what direction you scroll. So if I want to crunch this down more and make this look small, we're now looking at, 27 years worth of data. So let's go ahead and get a drawing tool. Those are right here up in the top in the middle, right to the right of this ABCD button. You've got this little line as the default. So I'm going to draw a trend line first. That same drop down is where you're going to find a lot of other horizontal lines, horizontal rays, rectangles, circles, whatever it is that you want to be drawing. I'm going to use a lot of that in this video, so don't fret. I'm going to show indicators, I'm going to show automation, and I'm going to show my Brexit prediction for a couple thousand pips on this pair. So stay tuned. And let's keep on rolling. So right now, okay, what we're looking at, we've got our major outside trend. We're looking at a heavy down pressure on the top, and we are looking at, slight down pressure on the bottom. So long term, doesn't seem like there's any reason why I should think this is anything but a downtrend, given that it was, almost twice as high 12 years ago. So it's fallen almost 50% in the last 10, 12 years. So, especially knowing that Brexit's coming, okay, maybe I want to get a little bit more of a precise look on this here. Maybe I want to get a rectangle on this. I'll get another drawing tool going. And I'm going to make this progressively more advanced. I'm going to show trading automations and indicators here. But for now, I'm going to use shapes, lines, stuff that I use every day. So if you're not using them, then I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to show Fibonacci's in here. There's a smart Fibonacci tool in this platform that if you've never traded in this platform, you've never had a Fibonacci tool, is awesome. I'm about to show it to you. So right now I've just pulled myself a little rectangle down here. Okay. Stay on task. Okay. Get zoomed in. And I'm going to show you why I picked this specific range for my rectangle. The reason why I like this rectangle tool, just so you guys can understand, is that it kind of forces me to use my eyeballs to look at the chart and find where the market's turned around at a common price many times. And I'll show you what I'm looking at. Okay. Click the ellipse tool. I lock it in. So now I can draw a bunch of circles of all the places where this thing is turned around at this price before. And, that's really why I think it's going to be an impactful price. And the same thing goes for our price over here on the bottom. We got a little tweezer bottom here. We had a big push from this price as well. Didn't spend long underneath there. Big wicks here as well. So I've kind of figured out what range the market is in already. And, at this point, I'm looking at, the last 2 times we got below the price we're at right now, the market made it all the way to the top of my box. Okay. So what I'm thinking now is, hey, I can probably trade all the way to the top of this box, especially considering the market's been, mostly on an uptrend. We were down all the way in March, down in the 120s range. It's up 1,400 pips since then. So it's been an uptrend for much of this year. But the last 5 years it's been sideways. So I'm going to trade it to the top of my box, just like what happened last time. Because hey, the trend's my friend. I'm going to just look for that price. So right now we're on the monthly time frame. I've already figured out my long-term trend direction. So I'm going to go to weekly. Just going to move down, and there's a couple different ways, just so you guys are aware, to change the time frame. I click the drop down list here. You can also click this 5-year button, and that is also a weekly chart. 1 year is going to bring you to the daily, and it's all going to show you, that's going to give you a specific amount of time. This is the last year we're looking at right now. Okay, year to date is just this year. Okay, so very sideways this year, if you guys can't tell, because it started high, came very low, and now we're right in the middle. So it's been a very interesting year for the pound yen so far. But now let's get back over to our actual trade we're looking for. And if you've ever traded with Fibonacci's, there are manual Fibonacci tools in here. I'm going to show you this. This is color coded. So if you trade with Fibonacci ratios or sequences or anything like that, then you've probably seen a similar tool to this in the past. I just accidentally added an extra one because I got the lock tool on. I'm going to click undo. That button exists. There's a redo button right next to that as well. So now I've drawn a manual Fibonacci here. We have not yet hit our extension. Okay, it looks like we might have gotten close. In reality, if I eyeball that, I might just say, okay, I'm going to keep that one. But the thing about this is it becomes something that's a little bit more, it's more based on my opinion if I do it this way. It's less of a scientific approach. Granted, I did get a pretty nice level. We bounced off of our 618. So it looks like we've got a pretty amazing opportunity. This thing could come as high as 150, 151. If I want to be conservative, I could still try to aim at this 145 level. That's 900 pips away. This isn't the big trade I'm trying to show you folks. So if you're getting excited about this one, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these Fibonacci's that I just drew here, and I'm going to show you the Smart Fibonacci tool. Okay, these smart tools are things that do not exist anywhere but in this platform. And I just clicked the bottom, right below the bottom. It pulled the Fibonacci ranges for me. And actually, I had missed a wave in here that I didn't notice because I did this with, there's actually 2 waves it found in there. I kind of missed one. And this thing actually found it for me. And this bounced right off the 618 here. And it's telling me that our extension level is very likely going to be around this 147 range. So I got a little bit more accuracy. It's more in line with what I had already drawn and figured out manually. I could have literally just come here and clicked the bottom of that trend there and found that same price level in about 15 seconds. Okay. But I like confirmation. I wanted you guys to know how to use all these drawing tools as well. So let's just keep moving with this trade. So what I need to do now is I need to figure out where I want my stop, where I want my limit. If I want to make a market order, this is just an example. Okay. So risk reward, typically I like to look for, at least 2 to 1. This is probably not going to be a 2 to 1 opportunity. I just want to show you guys more or less how to actually place this trade. Okay, so draw a horizontal line. We'll make this green. This is going to be my potential money line. I'll make my current market price blue, and I'm going to put my stop loss below my AB boundary to start out. And what I'm going to do, if this looks like about a 1-to-1 opportunity, so not a bad trade, but you're going to have to win more than half the time to be profitable. And frankly, I'm lazier than that. And you really should be too. But that being said, there's an option here. I can either use this previous low, okay, because we are on a daily time frame, and I could potentially use that as my stop loss, increase my risk reward ratio. There's also another low here that the market has not been below since June. So the market hasn't been below that price since June. It attempted to come down towards that level in September and wasn't able to do that. and it's now making higher highs versus what it was doing before. So we've got a higher high right here, okay, than we have right over here. So that being the case, you know, I'm looking at this like this thing is already deciding that it wants to move up. I'm going to go ahead and place my order. There's a widget window on the right. Okay, so this widget window has a lot to offer. Okay, right now I have it set up just to have just this one widget. So you can add a bunch of things. There's a, I don't know if you guys can see this little gear button right there. Okay, that is the settings button. So I clicked on it. Okay, and now I can add a lot of other widgets. If I want to have a market watch and I want to follow specific symbols, I can add them to my market watch. If I want to, you know, have a news widget, if I want to have an economic calendar in here, okay, there are a lot of functionalities in here. There are also premium tools, like I have a Fibonacci dashboard in here as well. This one will look for specific Fibonacci levels that just appear on whatever time frames you set it to, on whatever symbols you want to set it to. Pretty amazing tool, doesn't exist anywhere else. There's a lot of that sort of thing. There's not enough time in the day for me to show all this in this video. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, I want to show you guys just how to take advantage, how to place a trade. Okay, you don't want to end up looking at an opportunity and not know how to execute. Okay, so first thing I need to understand is how much money I want to put into this trade. And for me to do that, I'm going to use my measuring tool. It looks like two rulers like this over here on my left. I just clicked on it. It'll be highlighted in blue once it's on. So if I measure the current market price to where I want to put my stop loss, I'm risking 592 pips. Okay, so if I trade a mini lot position, that's roughly $590 risk. Okay, if I trade a 0.01, a micro lot position, that's a $59 risk. So if I change this to 0.01, that's now a $59 risk. Once I put in my stop and my limit, okay, that's how you're going to control your risk, is by having a stop loss. So my stop loss, I said 130.933, my red line at the bottom. And my limit is this 147.127, okay? So I've got my stop in there, I've got my limit, okay? I'm going to be risking, you know, a relatively smaller amount of money than I'm looking to earn on this trade. I'm aiming to earn somewhere around, you know, 1,000 pips from this micro lot position. You're talking about somewhere around $100. And like I said, we're going to be risking somewhere around 59. So not quite a 2-to-1, but actually still pretty good trade. So I'm going to go ahead and click on buy. Once I have my stop, I have my limit set. I click OK. I want to make sure this is where it's going to tell me which account I'm also placing this trade in. I'm placing this in my SmartTrader account. That's what my nickname is. That's where that will show up. So you want to make sure you're trading in the right account. This is the place where you catch yourself if you make a mistake. If you didn't, you click OK. And now you're in. We just opened that trade. You just saw another green arrow pop up. And now we bought the pound yen. And I have nothing left to do but let this thing run. I already have a stop. I already have a limit. Okay, if I want to open up another chart, I mentioned I was going to show a few strategies on here. You know, new chart. I'm going to wear out this pound yen, because this thing is going to move. Okay, I'm going to go open up another monthly time frame, add. So now I got a fresh chart. Okay, we're looking at the same thing. So I got them all in the same workspace, my walkthrough workspace. And now I'll make this one full screen. We can get rid of our widget window if we want to. Okay, and here we go. We've already decided, based on our previous analysis, that this is a buy. For the short term, for right now, we're looking at a buy on this, okay? But end of the day, what we also notice is that our long-term trend is this big downward wedge that's formed over the last almost 30 years. So, you know, I am planning to play this range, but eventually I'm expecting this thing to come back down. And I need to figure out exactly, you know, how I want to deal with it. Obviously, we're looking for a lot of pips upward. I just placed a market order. Not all of you are going to want to wait, you know, 3 or 4 weeks or a month or 2 months for a trade to develop. So some of you may want to take advantage of that trade. And then I'll just make this clear with a box. Some of you are going to want to trade this with automation. And I don't blame you for wanting to do things like that, because time is money. And the whole purpose of having an automation is for it to do things that you would want to do when you're not there anyways. So I've already decided I want to basically buy to the top of this box. I'm going to make this green for right now because we're looking at buys right now. So my box itself, we just made that green. So make sure this is obvious. Okay, I'm buying until we get to the top of this box, and then I'm selling. And, you know, I'll get more to that here in a minute, okay? I don't want to give away too much, but I want to show some indicators here as well. But automation, you're going to want to know how to handle something like this. So we've already kind of figured out that we just made a market order. So we may want to have something that's going to take profit intermittently throughout the day, throughout the week. You know, something that's going to scalp this market. You know, so I may want to turn on an automation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the trading or the time frame I want to run my automation on. Because once I get an automation turned on, I want to pull as much information into the chart as I can. So I zoomed all the way out. Okay, and now I can't change this time frame whatsoever after I turn on my robot. Okay, so I'm going to click on this little notepad looking button on the left. If you hover over it, it says SmartScript. Okay, so now we open it. And I'll pick a popular and we'll just say perfect. Perfect storm. Let's see. Let's do the trend storm. Here we go. Version 1.02. Play. Okay. So I don't want to do anything with this thing except for buy. I'm not looking for sells. I want this thing to find the best opportunities to buy, and I don't want it to do anything else. So if this system happens to get a sell signal, it's going to skip it. And it's not going to do it because it's trading against what I believe is the trend right now for the next 800, 900 pips or so. Okay, so I want to leave this, you know, just like it is with just buy. Visualizations just going to show the indicators involved in the system on the screen. And you'll see that once I click apply and start down at the bottom. But I want to make sure everybody understands lot type. You can either have a fixed lot size, and what this is, so you could set it as a 0.01 would be a micro lot, 1.0 would be a standard lot. And every trade that it places is going to be at that size if I change that. Okay, it might actually step up on the second trade. This one has a max positions of 5, so this one's going to keep loading more and more positions on every time it finds a good opportunity to buy, and it's going to shave off profits every time it sees an opportunity to get out. So that's the beauty of having a robot, is that it just, you know, it goes into the market, trades with the trend for you for a while, takes profit, you're out, you realize profit on a regular basis, as opposed to maybe, you know, waiting this trade out for, you know, 6 weeks, 2 months. Not everybody's got the stomach for that. So if I want to make it a risk percent, if I do that, I don't have to figure out what lot size I should trade anymore. Now I'm just going to risk 1% or 2% or maybe maximum 3% of my account per position. If I do 1%, this thing has up to 5 positions it's going to open. You know, that means I'm going to risk up to 5% on this trend being up. So I don't want to necessarily do, you know, maybe 5 trades. I might bump my max positions down to 3 or 2 or whatever you want to do. You can put it at 10. Kind of depends on how big your account is. So risk percent, I think, is really the best way to go. But generally, I'm going to leave it on the default 5. Okay. And I can run this on the current chart, or if I have, say, for example, you know, 4 different charts that I'm running, maybe a different time frame or a different symbol, I can do current workspace. I can turn this robot on 4 different charts all at once with the same settings. Okay, so I'm just going to do in the current chart for right now. Apply and start. And you just saw the perfect trend storm pop up, and it's applying the script. You can see that in the top left up here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this box that we've got here in a moment once this thing gets going. But essentially, this robot is going to do all of the thinking for me in reference to my equity management. I just have to leave it turned on. So either you're going to run it on a VPS server, or, you know, you're just not going to turn your computer off. But you can see where this thing started buying, and you can see also where it got out. So recently, you know, it actually had a little bit of a loss there. It won all 4 of these trades on the left. And if we're only looking at buys, you can see it didn't place any trades for a while on this downtrend. That's because it's only looking for buys, and that's what it's showing me in the back testing. So this thing is already bought. It's already actually captured a decent amount of profit from here. So there's been a lot of trading on the up movement on this already. This system has already been thinking up before I even came to it. So now I don't have to do anything but leave this on. If I want to do any other trading on this pair, I need to use a different chart. So I'm going to open up another one, new chart. Let's just say, hey, I want to open some manual trades. Maybe I don't want to wait for my automation to place a trade. And maybe I want to trade a different strategy. Maybe I want to use something with indicators. Maybe I want to use my stochastic RSI. Maybe I want to use my MACD. Maybe I want to use, whatever it is that you want to use. There's a lot of indicators out there. So I'm going to open up another. We're going to wear out this pound yen. I'm excited about this Brexit prediction. You guys are going to like this opportunity, I think. But let's go ahead and get over to our 2-hour time frame. Another chart. Now I got all three of these charts on here. One of them is running an automation. I opened up a live market order here. I'm going to get a pending order here on my prediction trade. And first, before we do that, I'm going to get full screen on our new chart. I'm going to pick an indicator set. Okay, so if you want to add an indicator, very straightforward. You click on the button up here, top left, just below. This other button here is for, if you want to put text. Okay, whatever you want on here. Okay, I don't necessarily want that there. I'll click undo. But right below that button is the indicators button. And let's just say you can scroll down the list. There's a lot of them to choose from. Tons of them you've never heard of. A lot of them you probably have heard of. So all the popular ones are going to be here. You can actually change the settings on these too, so you can get real, particular with all sorts of stuff if you want. You can also search in the bar. So if I want to use the, flip it, I just searched flip it. Here's my flip it. And if I also want to add maybe my Fibonacci, all I have to do is search, click plus. Now they're both on here. And now maybe I say like, oh, okay, I like these indicator sets, but I don't like the candlesticks behind it. I want to change my chart type. This is where I go to do that. I can make this a line chart. I can make this, there's a micro price detector in here, is actually a premium tool, but I can do hollow candles, colored bars. I can make this look different to make it more pleasing to my eyes, whatever I want. But I'll do a line chart just to make it as clean as possible with just the indicators that I've got. And now what we're looking at, my flip it's actually got, if my flip it's on the top, then I'm looking for sells. If my flip it's on the bottom, I'm looking for buys. As far as my Fibonacci smooth goes, if I'm, if the candles are blue, I'm looking for buys. If the candles are red, I'm looking for sells. So right now, my flip it and my Fibonacci smooth, they're telling me that I should buy. I can actually change the time frame on either one of these tools if I want. I can change my Fibonacci to a higher time frame, or I can change my flip it to a higher time frame. Let's just say I put my flip it on, let's put it on the daily. I click this little settings gear here. This window pops up. I change my time frame, change this to the day. And now I'm looking at two different charts at once. Okay, and my flip it changes a lot less often in this scenario. So, the last couple of times that this flip it has changed on this pair, we've gotten really, really big moves. I mean, you're talking about, this changed at this price here. This is where we broke through the flip it. That fell another 598 pips. Okay, so that was the smaller move than this last one where we broke through and went 827 pips. So this is a pretty, early part of this curve that we've got on the bottom. Our Fibonacci is telling us this is a buy opportunity. Hey, this is just more confirmation that, we already placed a trade on this. We just already made a market order on this earlier. So I just want to make sure everybody understands there are a lot of indicators in here. If you want to learn more about them, there's a trading room. Okay, I'm going to pull this up for you now. Okay, I just clicked on this button at the top right here that looks like a live button. Okay, you get unlimited access to this Ignite room. Okay, there are a lot of trading rooms within SmartTrader. So if you want to get in the trading room with Chris Pulver, or you want to get in the trading room with Jared Martinez, or Tion Creek, or any other trader that has decades of experience, they're available in this platform from the same place. So if this room is live, so if we were here at this time, then we could click join room now, and we could go watch somebody go through, there's 5 hours of material. There's a whole course on how to use this actual platform. I'm just showing you what I use every day and what I think is the most awesome, and I'm trying to, do it in a way that you'll be more interested in because I still have a prediction for you folks. Brexit's coming. At some point, they've been saying it for years. But there is going to be something that happens here soon. I'm going to pull up that chart in a second. I just want to make sure you guys understand the level of support that comes along with this. And there's a lot of trading rooms. So these are all the ones that are available. I have access to all of them. So you may not want to use every one of them. This, fibs and formations, that's with, Jared Martinez, the FX chief. The flex trading room is with, Chris Pulver. He did 30,000 pips last year. I want to say he's been averaging about 2,000 a month this year. So the guy is consistent. If you want to trade with people like that, then, this is the place to go. Analyst on demand. This is part of 360 Pro. Okay, this is the Tokyo session, London session, the American Open, mentorship with Jared Martinez. He talks about the mentality of trading. This is a fantastic add-on. There are, it looks like 4 hours a day of this room, or a lot more than that, actually. So it's somewhere around 5 hours, it looks like, in just this room at the peak times of the day. So that's the type of stuff that's available in here. I'm going to come back to the charts. You guys want to see the prediction? We've already shown so much, I feel. We've already talked about running automations, okay? We've already talked about turning on indicators. There's a lot more indicators in here, folks, okay? Now you want to see the big move that I'm looking for, okay? So I'm going to create another chart here. We're going to do the GBP, JPY again. We're going to wear this thing out. We've already done a lot of analysis on it. It's already become our best good friend. So we might as well see what we can find here. And, now that we've looked at this a few times, you probably know where I'm going first. I'm going to draw my rectangle right here. Okay? And what I'm going to do, now that I've got my rectangle, we had that on a few different time frames. Actually, I think I went a little bit higher with my rectangle before. We're right up here. We'll get a little bit outside, get the bottom over here. Okay, so there's our rectangle. There's our last 5 years. Okay, so what I'm looking at is that, obviously we already figured out that we've got downward pressure on the top. I'm gonna make this really abundantly clear again, because I know we've been on a bunch of different charts. Okay, and really what I'm expecting the target price is really where these two lines collide. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily use this as my exit price, but this is what I'm thinking the market really, that's where supply and demand meet. So that's really where I think that, like, the end game, this is as far down as this thing might come. May not do that immediately, but really what I might want to find out first is where the support levels are above that. And you don't have to be a genius. That's why you have SmartTrader. So smart support, smart resistance. This is going to find the next lower levels of support. If I turn this on automatically, I don't have to search. I can see that there is one more level of support that is, S1 at 123. That is 1,400 pips away. Okay, S2 is at 118. So that's another 500 pips away from that. And there's a cluster. There's 3 of them down here. This has been a downtrend for the last dozen years, and that's indicated pretty clearly by our 2 downtrend lines on the top and the bottom, and also by just the lower highs that happen. It's a lower high. This is another lower high. So it's been kind of accelerating downward. This is the original low, lower low, lower low. So there's really no reason for me to believe that we can't make another low somewhere down here. Okay, especially since we've got this big falling wedge. So I don't necessarily want to chase this all the way outside of our all-time lows, because that's what we're looking at with these circles I've got right over here in the middle of our screen. So maybe I aim at S2. Okay, because we haven't hit S2 since 2011, and if there's ever a time that we're going to test S2, it could be when a no-deal Brexit happens, or when people think that will happen, because either one will move the money, because fear is what mostly controls the market. A lot of that's going to be indicated by big wicks on candlestick formations. There was obviously, I'll zoom in on one of these here. Okay, so March, okay, you can see we have this big wick. This wick on this candle here, from S1 to the bottom of our rectangle, okay, that's a 790 pip wick. Okay, so the market went down 790 pips and then came back. That's a lot of movement. It didn't want to go down below that price. So that's a lot of fear in the market. It also didn't want to go up. It kind of wanted to stay at the price we were at. So we got a little spinning top right there. That's a 681 pip wasted time for that entire, month. It went sideways, okay? So outside of those, okay, we want to know, I want to set a pending order up. I want to take the most equitable trade that I can possibly find. If I'm going to set up something that I'm going to let go for a long time, a big home run type opportunity, I'm just going to let run, then I'm going to do it on this high time frame. Because, you know, if I'm a bank, I'm not going to move billions of dollars every other 15 minutes. I'm going to do it every few months. Okay, which is why our box that I drew initially down here, this green box on the bottom right, that's why it only gets hit on the top once, well, at most every few months. So this may take some time for us to get there. It could get there next month. It could get there next week. It could be there tomorrow. So that's the cool thing about a pending order, is that I don't have to wait. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line where I'm planning on getting in. And this is going to be my home run trade that I'm looking for, that I'm anticipating getting into this before the end of this year, 2020. And I'm anticipating being able to take this all the way down to my green line on the bottom. That could very likely happen in 2020. That could happen in early, 2021. But realistically speaking, that's a huge move, okay? And if I want to use a previous high above that for my stop loss, I have all sorts of play in this trade because the risk reward is wide. You know, the market has not been above this price that I just drew my red line at since before the Brexit referendum. So I don't have any reason to believe it's going to get any higher than that, especially if, a no deal Brexit happens, because that's kind of the worst case scenario. So there's a lot of technicals behind this trade. There's a lot to notice in the world about this trade. And, I'm going to show you guys how to set up this pending order. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me exit out of that here. Okay. So our total risk reward on this, just so we're clear, it's going to be shown when I open up my pending order. I need to click over this other tab, pending. This is a pending sell. So my pending sell price, say 146.98. That's my blue line that I had there. Okay. And I want to turn on a stop. I want to turn on a limit. And 156.598. Okay. And my limit, we'll say 120.267. Okay. So this is a position trade. This is a huge call. We're looking for 2,671 pips on this move. So if you trade a 0.01, a micro lot position on this, this is a $96 risk for a roughly, $260 gain. If you trade a 0.02, you double those numbers. If you trade a 0.3, you triple those numbers. So keep in mind, if you can't afford the risk for any amount of a trade, and if you're not okay with if you woke up tomorrow and you lost all the money involved in your risk on this trade, and you're okay, then go ahead. Do whatever you want. It's totally up to you at that point. Just because there's no such thing as a guarantee, but what we're looking at, folks, is something that doesn't come around very often. The last time the market got to this price, just to show you the absolute most recent time that the market got to this price. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and measure this for you. The last two times it's fallen 1,600 pips and then 1,925 pips and then 2,192 pips. So an increasingly larger amount of pips every time. So it's kind of making a megaphone toward the south right now. So if you're looking for a big opportunity, we've got everything set up. Okay, we haven't placed the order yet. Everything's all set. All of our lines are what they are. Our rate here is our blue price. Every time the market has hit this price, except once out of the last 8, the market's fallen a lot. So I feel good about this. I'm going to go ahead and put it in place order. It's going to ask me if I really want to do this on my SmartTrader account. I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now this trade exists in our order window here below. I can organize by symbol here. Okay, GBP, JPY, here it is. I got a couple in here. I just bought this one. I got a lot of trades going on in here. Okay, we're up 345 pips. We're not winning all of them, folks. You don't have to win all of them. That's kind of the whole point. Okay, you just have to win most of them. And you don't even really have to win most of them. If you're going to have risk reward like what I'm showing here above, this is a 3-to-1 opportunity. You only have to win 3 out of 10 to make money in that scenario. 3, 4 out of 10, you're making pretty decent money. If you win 7, 8 out of 10 in that scenario, then you're doing really well. And if you're using high time frames like I'm showing you here, folks, you're going to get much better results. If you want to know more about this platform, you want to know more about how to get your access to the platform, how to get access to all these trading rooms, you can actually get access to the platform below. There's a link below. We got a great deal for you. The plans are all on this page here. Go back to the home page. We'll leave all this stuff here behind. Okay. And let's go to the plans page. I want to show you guys just real quick. The most popular is Prime. For many reasons, it kind of is the most bang for your buck. If you are going to trade with a lot of automations, you have a lot of trading accounts, then you're probably going to want to use something like Pro. 360 Pro is going to have a lot more trading sessions on top of the tools, so that's why it is more expensive. If you're just looking for charting, you want to use the types of tools you saw from me today, the Smart Fibonacci Tool, Smart Support, Smart Resistance, Smart Patterns I didn't even show you. There's harmonic tools in here as well. There's a lot of indicators available. Prime, I got a $5 trial for you below, so go ahead and check that out. If you do need any assistance, send us an email to brokers@123trade. Again, I'm William Bridges. Thank you for checking us out over here at 123trade. I hope you learned a little bit about SmartTrader. I hope you're excited about our little prediction we made on the pound yen Brexit. If you haven't already, go ahead and press the thumbs up button, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll see you again soon, traders.